Hi, Stephen Horne here. This is the fourth video in my Foundations of Natural Health series, in which I'm laying out my philosophy of why it's important that we stop focusing on treating disease and start focusing on building health. We need to transform the disease care system of this country into a true healthcare system. And this means learning to look at and work with root causes rather than trying to treat the effect. When I was in my teens, I read Walden Pond by Henry David Thoreau, and I've always enjoyed Thoreau. And one of his quotes is, "There are 1,000 hacking at of the branches of evil to one who is striking at the root." So I've observed this in my own life. There are thousands of people who think that they see a problem in society and they think that they can solve it by attacking the problem directly. And the problem is that problems, like diseases, are symptoms, they're effects, they're things that have happened because there is a cause. And most people don't really dig deep enough to understand the causes and try to work on the causes. They think that if you can change the effect, you've solved the problem. And this will never work. It never works in any aspect of our lives, and especially doesn't work in health. Now, in my last video, I talked about how symptoms of acute disease are actually the body trying to cure itself. They come from the immune system, from the life process within the body, not from the infection. In this video, I want to expand the understanding of that process to talking about symptoms of chronic illness. And to understand this, I'm going to take a very simple explanation, a very simple look at how the body communicates with us. The body doesn't talk to us in words. It doesn't say, "I'm hungry" or "I'm thirsty." We have a feeling or a sensation in our body that we learn to associate means the body wants water, or the body wants food, or we're tired and the body needs rest, or we're restless, which means that the body wants activity. The body communicates its needs through physical sensations. And it tries to communicate to us what is good for us and what is not good for us, what is helping the body to be healthy, what is not helping the body to be healthy. So let's take that feeling of fatigue. We feel tired, which is a sign that we need to rest, and we decide we need energy, we need to fight the fatigue. So you take a stimulant, caffeine, for example, coffee, a cola drink. Now, what caffeine is doing is it's not giving you energy. There are neurotransmitters in your brain that receive a neurotransmitter called adenosine, and the receptors for adenosine are what tell us that we're tired and we need to sleep. Caffeine blocks adenosine receptors, causing us to not get the signal that we are tired. We're still tired. Our body's still running out of energy. It still needs rest. Well, we've temporarily blocked the signal that we're tired, and we think we've fixed the problem. Well, that might be useful if you're driving late at night and you need to stay alert because you don't want to get in an accident. But in day-to-day life, it doesn't really help the problem. And the body works around it. The body learns to build more adenosine receptors to compensate for the caffeine, which means now if you don't use caffeine, you feel more tired, because there are more adenosine receptors telling you you're tired, until the body downregulates the adenosine receptors if you get rid of the caffeine. In other words, the body is going to try to get its messages across to us one way or another. Well, when we have a symptom like pain, or high blood pressure, or high cholesterol, or any one of dozens and dozens of things that go on in the body, we often think that this means, oh, I'll be fine if I lower the cholesterol. I'll be fine if I take a drug and bring down the blood pressure. But since the symptom is being generated by the body, by the life force in the body, trying to cope with the stresses that it is under and deal with them, all we're generally doing is blocking the signal. As some people have referred to it, it's like having a warning indicator light come on your car, and it's blinking at you, and you go, "I'm tired of this," and you cut the wire to disconnect the receptor. So you're not getting the message that something is wrong, and you think that you fixed the problem. It's not the way it works. You've got to dig deeper than that, and you've got to understand what is going on in your body that's causing this to happen. Let's take cholesterol, for example. Cholesterol is manufactured in your liver. Your liver controls the amount of cholesterol in your body. Cholesterol elevates for many reasons. One of them is you're having problems digesting fats. Another one is that you're having problems with your thyroid. High cholesterol used to be one of the symptoms doctors would look for low thyroid, because the thyroid hormone helps burn up fats in the body. High cholesterol elevates in response. Cholesterol elevates in response to environmental toxins, because the body uses cholesterol to bind toxins and carry them back to the liver for elimination. The cholesterol elevates because the liver is not flushing excess cholesterol really well. The primary way the body gets rid of cholesterol is by using it to make bile, and bile is used to digest fats. So if you have a low-fat diet and you're not making a lot of bile, that's going to make the cholesterol elevate. In other words, what I'm saying is there's whole bunches of reasons why the cholesterol could go up. Same thing's true for high blood pressure. There's a whole bunch of reasons why your blood pressure might elevate. And you have to figure out what the cause is, and then you can come up with a reason. And to understand the cause, you have to look deeper into the person's diet, lifestyle, and case history. I just saw a posting by a good friend of mine, Thomas Easley, today about studies in early childhood trauma and how they affect us physically. And I've long observed that people, for example, who had very abusive, very difficult childhoods have more chronic illness as adults. Why is this? Because they haven't been able to recover from the trauma and abuse. It's not that the trauma and abuse can't be recovered from. It's that when they haven't been given the tools to be able to recover from that, then internally the body is still in conflict. There's epigenetic changes that take place in the nervous system and the glandular system and so forth in trying to cope with that trauma, and these epigenetic changes make them more prone to certain illnesses like autoimmune diseases or perhaps cancer or so forth. And you have to go back and help them address these. This is what natural healing is all about. This is what healthcare is all about. It's going in and looking into the diet, lifestyle, case history of a person and finding the causes, the things that triggered the cascade of events that led to the person's current symptoms. You can't ever fix the problem just by treating the symptoms. You can't get rid you can't help the body heal from an injury by taking painkillers. All you're doing is masking the pain and trauma. You can't ever get rid of high blood pressure by taking drugs that just lower the blood pressure without trying to figure out, are you magnesium deficient? Is there too much stress in your life? Are you vitamin C deficient? Are you have other nutrients that are needed to regulate the blood pressure that you're not getting? What is the cause? You have to look deeper than the effect, and you have to get to the root cause. Now, I don't have time to sit here and explain all of the root causes because I don't know all the root causes. To me, every time I'm working with a person individually, it's like a detective story, a whodunit mystery. And when people ask me, what do you do about this disease? What do you do about that disease? The only answers that I could give them are symptomatic relief. And symptomatic relief does not equate to healing. Symptomatic relief only temporarily makes a person feel better, like the caffeine temporarily makes you feel like you've got energy when you don't. Which means ultimately, by treating symptoms, the problems that are causing the person to not feel good remain and get worse. And then the body has to come up with new coping mechanisms to try to deal with the difficulty, like building more adenosine receptors, and we call these side effects. So this is why it's really, really critical to understand natural medicine, to stop hacking at the branches on the disease tree that I showed earlier in one of my earlier videos, and start getting down and looking at the root causes. If you liked this message, please click the like on YouTube. It helps us get more views. Please share this on social media so we can get this message out to more people. I really want to educate people about what natural healing is all about. It's not about just changing from using drugs to herbs or essential oils or some other natural therapy. It's not just about eating healthier or whatever, that's part of it. It's about shifting your perspective from thinking about diseases to thinking about how you take care of yourself and your body and dealing with what the root causes are in your body. It's a change in a paradigm, not just a change in the substances you're using. You can start into herbal medicine like I did and think of herbal medicine as an alternative to medical treatment and look at herbs as a way of suppressing symptoms. But that never really worked for me. And it was when I went into this deeper philosophy and started understanding what's going on in the body and how herbs help the underlying processes of the body, which I'll talk about in the next video, that I really started to get good results. So again, please share this video, become a subscriber to one of my newsletters, or join our member program for monthly webinars and other information from us to teach people about natural health. Thank you for watching.